Welcome to Billo's Science Fiction, Taxi Boy by William L. Ramseyer. People, even nuts, if they got the money, they got the right to take a cab. But this lady I'm talking about, she wasn't nuts, just weird. She gets in the cab wearing this big floppy black hat with black lace like grandmas wear. But she wasn't that old. I could see her blonde hair made up careful like, and she had a Mona Lisa type smile, like if Mona Lisa was 60 years old and on a TV quiz show and knew all the answers to all the quiz show questions. She wore slacks and a gray sweater with a grease spot. I would have told her about a good cleaning place I know, but she might have gotten offended. Of course I start talking to this lady. What else can you do in a cab? Get your mind out of the gutter, friend. She tells me her son never calls her. He went off to the city and he's too busy. But her other son, Tony, now that son calls her every day. Funny, I'm thinking, I got a brother named Tony, but he's a jerk, so I don't say nothing about that. And her son lives 2 blocks from her with a nice girl named Catherine. She's a nice, classy girl. Her son, Tony's wife, she's got class. She makes food, brings it to her mother-in-law, and she listens to advice about how to run a family. Now her other son, Frank, he never calls. Frank? Hey, you know, that's my name too. And I got a sister-in-law named Catherine, but she's kind of stuck up, you know. And I've got a brother named Tony. Hey, that's funny, ain't it? And do you call your mother Frank? Well, I mean, you know, well, as often as I can. Frank, you got to call your mother as often as you can. Where would you be without your mother? She keeps talking about the high school her sons went to, the same one I went to, and the girlfriends her sons had, the good ones and the bad ones, the one that Frank should marry so he can have kids, and the dog he had that he never took care of it and it got run over, but it wasn't his fault because he was too young to know better. And he cried about the dog for weeks, and the street they lived on and the color of the house, and her husband, what a good man he was, and how he died of a heart attack watching a football game, and everything was the same as for me. I looked at her carefully. She didn't look like my mother. She was about 5 years older with different colored hair and a bigger, longer nose, different voice, and my mother never wear a hat like that. No, it couldn't be my mother. It wasn't my mother. Excuse me, what's your last name? I mean, I ain't prying, but I thought maybe I knew your sons. Kuzo. Why, hey, that's my name too. We must be related. How old is your son Frank, the one that don't call you? One Frank. He's 32, born on Good Friday. We were born on the same day, but I'm only 26, so you can't be my mother. Of course I'm not your mother. You've been working too hard, Frank. Call your mother, you promise? We reached the medical suites where she was going, the same office that my mother always used to take me to. Right, yeah, sure, I promise. The end.